Yes, there is a limit. The question now is, what is the limit to enjoying your hobbies? Where do we draw that line? You see, in our culture, it has become much more common to see successful figures and people who are popular and have influence celebrating or showing appreciation to some of the nerdy, childish hobbies they have. Some examples of this are Noah Lyles wearing a dual disc to some of his meets and pulling out various cards before and after races. Another example of this is Michael B. Jordan showing his love for Naruto, how he grew up reading the manga. However, we're gonna ignore the clip where he says Naruto wrong,
Naruto Shippuden. Been a fan of it for years, since I was like maybe 12, 13 years old.
What the hell is even that?
Megan Thee Stallion showing her love for anime and manga by cosplaying characters from JoJo, specifically Bucciarati. However, this sparks the discussion of where do we draw the line between enjoying a hobby and it becoming too childish. That's where this video comes in. In this video, I aim to defend enjoying childish, quote unquote, childish hobbies, and I aim to recognize the boundary or the limit that we ought to have when it comes to enjoying our hobbies. But first, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Elishua, but you can call me Eli. And I welcome you to sit back, relax, get comfortable as we explore where is the limit to enjoying your hobbies. Okay, so I'm going to use a bit of anecdote for this example, but I have loved video games my whole life. And video games have often been a point of connection for me. I have made many friends through playing video games. I have so many memories where friends came over and we sat down on the couch and played games like Super Smash Bros, Mario Kart, Super Mario Party. Can you tell I was a Nintendo kid? And various other games that we all bonded over. Some of those memories still stick with me today and make me smile. Do you see where I'm getting at? Your hobbies can be a point of connection for you to hang out with other people and meet people who are like-minded. You can find a community of people around your hobby, regardless of the hobby. Have you ever seen how happy a person gets when you talk about a topic that they are interested in? People bond over sports all the time. I personally love basketball. I love talking about the NBA.
We do not care.
All of these forms of media bridge the gap between two strangers and could potentially lead to lifelong friendships. I have bonded with friends talking about basketball, talking about insane plays, crazy finishes to games, debating who's the greatest player of all time. I have bonded with people over comics, theorizing different stories, analyzing the themes. I have bonded with people over philosophy. I have bonded with people over fitness, talking about the best techniques for lifting. And this has brought me closer to so many people. When you have a hobby, it makes it easier. And if you want to bond with people over a game like Mario Kart, that's fine. Because if that's what makes you friends that will benefit your life, go for it. And if you want to bond with people talking about sports, talking about football, then that's fine too. Because that's what makes your life better. That's what draws you near to people. And it's especially important in today's day and age, since many of us struggle with loneliness. Many people struggle to find a third space. So if their favorite hobby can open up a third space for them, a space where they could hang out with people, meet new people, establish connection, and grow with other people, who am I to tell them that it is not okay? Now, are there bad eggs in every community? Yeah. However, we are not to limit our perspective of an entire fan base or an entire group to a select few. Imagine if you stereotyped all sports fans as violent because there's a select group of people who end up getting violent when they see someone who is of an opposing team. Ridiculous. Let people enjoy their communities. Let me go grab my soda. Many nerdy hobbies are beautiful art forms that help express the emotions of those who participate in those hobbies. Video games as an art form can be one of the most beautiful storytelling genres out there. People have built immaculate structures out of Legos that are sculptures showing beautiful representation of art pieces. Anime and manga have shaped our culture and continue to shape our culture in various ways. I mean, look at all the Gojo memes from last year. Some of the best movies out there are superhero movies. And that's not even mentioning people who cosplay, designing their own costumes, sculpting, sewing, creating something that truly expresses how they feel. I mean, you gotta respect it. It is extremely impressive to see someone create a real life Springtrap suit. That's insanely cool. And if you don't find it cool, frick, why? Stop. Anyway, I know it's nerdy and I know it's a little weird, but you at least have to respect the effort that went into the art. You may not understand it, but you can understand the hard work that went into it and the love and care they have for that. Even if you have a different hobby, for anyone to find an art form that they resonate with is a beautiful thing. When an art form makes you get invested in its characters, when it makes you get invested in its story, when it makes you want to talk about its themes, about its history, its backstory, its inspirations, that's how you know that art form is transformative. And I was once on the other side of critiquing people who enjoyed certain media. But who am I to judge them if that helps them, if that makes them happy and helps them reflect, if that's the art form of their choice? And that's not to mention art forms that I enjoy. I enjoy nerdy hobbies, and I used to feel ashamed. But at this point, since I enjoy it, I'm going to continue to enjoy it because it speaks to me. I think our culture has the flawed idea that every hobby we do has to in some way benefit us. You know, that if we're doing a hobby, it has to make us more money. It got to be a side hustle. Or if we're reading, it has to be that we're learning something, that it can't be a work of fiction because that's too childish. Or the idea that, you know, if we're doing something, it must be productive. When in reality, if you have a hobby and the primary reason you do that hobby is because you find it fun, that's perfectly fine. And I'm all for working out because it has health benefits. I'm all for reading because learning is fantastic. I'm all for doing puzzles and doing things that expand your mind. Those are good. And if those are helping you achieve your goal, great. But if you want leisure time, take your leisure time. That's perfectly fine. Let your hobby be your leisure time as you complete your daily responsibilities. Culturally, we have this idea that we have to constantly be in work mode, that that every hobby that we do has to make us money, that it has to profit us somehow, that it has to make us more fit, or has to make us smarter. No, it doesn't. I think that is flawed logic. We are not machines. We are not constantly meant to work. Are we meant to work? Yes, to a certain degree. I think it is clear that we are meant to work, but we are not meant to be overworked. We are human. We have emotions and feelings and stresses and worries and wonders and an imagination. So not every book that we read has to be about optimizing our performance. Not every movie we watch has to be a documentary on how you can be a better person. Not every video on the internet that you watch has to be about making you this super advanced entrepreneur, because it gets to a point where you're listening to so much information that you're just losing on your investment. There's a passage in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, and it opens up saying, there's a time for everything under the sun, and then it lists all the things there's a time for. And I believe that we can apply that logic to leisure. There is a time for work, yes, and when you work, you must work hard. But then there is a time for leisure, and that leisure can be of your choice. And that's okay too. If you have a hobby that you enjoy in your downtime, enjoy it to its max. And if it's nerdy, who cares? Don't let other people ruin your enjoyment of what you like. If your hobby makes you genuinely happy, I am glad. Whether it be something popular like a sport, like boxing or MMA, or even enjoying like popular music, or it's something niche like building Legos, like collecting figurines, although now that's becoming more mainstream and more acceptable, which is fine. Let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. And the crazy thing for me, the people I respect the most are those who are able to balance their hobbies while achieving their dreams. That's why I do have some sort of respect for celebrities like Michael B. Jordan, people like Henry Cavill, people like Noah Lyles, because in that aspect, they were able to work hard and achieve what they wanted to achieve while still enjoying the media that inspired them. Like right now, I'm trying to make my dream of hitting 1,000 subscribers before my birthday come true. So if you could please hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the video, that would be greatly appreciated. However, I think there is a limit to how much you can enjoy these things. And I'm going to tell you right now. Now, I have said it over and over again in this video. Hobbies are fun to enjoy. However, hobbies become destructive when they are done either too much or they are intrinsically bad for you. That's why watching porn or doing drugs is not a hobby, because those things are bad for you, no matter how much the drug addict or the addict will argue that is good for you. But hobbies like gaming, anime, working out, all these different hobbies can be harmful when done in excess. These hobbies can become addictions that cause you to neglect your responsibilities. You shouldn't be buying Lego sets. You shouldn't be buying Pokemon cards. You shouldn't be buying all these video games if you are unable to pay your bills, bruh. If you're not budgeting your money properly to where you're able to take care of your responsibilities and take care of these hobbies, then I need you to just take a step back, examine yourself and say, okay, I need to relax. If you are a father or a mother, you should not neglect your family responsibility just to have time for your hobbies. You shouldn't use cooking time as a way to shut up your family. You shouldn't put playing video games over taking care of your kids. If you are an aspiring creator, entrepreneur, artist, businessman, whatever, and you are addicted to your hobbies, I suggest that you take time away from Netflix, put down the controller more often, stop buying all those things that you don't need to buy right now, and lock in. I'm not saying that you got to cut these things out of your life completely. You can still buy that Hot Wheels pack if you want to every now and then. You can still play video games, even if it's for 30 minutes, if you want to. I am not saying that you have to cut out your hobbies completely from your life. But what I am saying is when your hobbies get in the way of you achieving your goals, of you achieving your purpose, of you taking care of your responsibilities, that is a problem. The Bible calls this idolatry. When you put your hobbies first on your priority list, it becomes essentially an enslavement to some sort of God that you have created. It's a form of worship. When you have this obsessive compulsion to want to go out and whenever you feel hurt or in pain, you impulsively go to play these games. You impulsively go to buying stuff that you don't need right now. That is when it becomes destructive. That is when it becomes an addiction. And when it gets to that level, you need two things. You need Jesus and therapy, because that's what's going to help you. I mean, if your hobby comes with the stigma of you smelling like hot garbage, you need to reevaluate yourself immediately. And listen, I know that hobbies are fun and they are a great way to express yourself when done in a healthy way. If I had the time, I would enjoy more of my hobbies. I would play video games more. I would have a manga collection. I would have a book collection. That's all fine and dandy. However, this thing should not be my number one priority. It should not be my number two, nor my number three, nor my number four. For me and my Christians out there, we know that God is the number one priority. We love you, Jesus. Then it's family, friends, and yourself. And I put those in one category because depending on the situation, you have to reorganize those. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice yourself for your family. Sometimes you're going to need time away from your family for yourself. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice yourself for your friends. Sometimes friends kind of blend into family. Yada, yada. It's complicated. Humans are not one-dimensional. The third thing that comes next is work. Because work helps you pay for your responsibilities. Work helps you take care of family. You shouldn't put work over family, but you should have work as something necessary so that you can take care of family, friends, and yourself. And finally, last and the least of your worries, not to say that it's not a worry, but is the lowest of the low, is your hobbies. And once you recognize that, you need to arrange your life in a proper way so that you can, yes, make time for your hobbies, but you can get your responsibilities out the way first. Sometimes people need to put gaming in the back seat while you work on something that's more important. Sometimes you gotta avoid watching your favorite sport so that you can do what you gotta do. Sometimes you have to stop spending outrageous amounts of money on figurines, on Legos, on stuffed animals, on stuff like that, so that you can lock in and take care of your necessities. Sometimes you need to stop listening to music, take the headphones on and off and be in the moment. The limit is knowing when too much is too much. And that limit is different for everyone. For the single guy who has less responsibilities, who's trying to accumulate wealth, who's trying to prepare himself for getting a girlfriend, he may have more time to buy the Lego set, to get the video game and enjoy it. Yeah, and for the father, it's going to be different too, because he has a family to take care of. He has different responsibilities. And does that mean that the father can't enjoy building Legos just as much as a single guy? No, they could both enjoy it. It's just knowing when and how much of it they can enjoy. The ultimate limit is not letting your hobbies stop you from taking care of your responsibilities. That's just to make a long story short. Instead, I would encourage you to let them make you the best version of you. Whether they make you happy so you're able to be more productive when you work, or they make you think, or they make you work harder, or they make you bond with people, or they just make you happy in general and improve your quality of life. That's okay too. And there's one more limit that I would like to add. Don't let your hobby make you one-dimensional. Now, this is my personal opinion, but I don't think you should just hyperfixate on one hobby, unless you're extremely neurodivergent. Diversify your enjoyment. If you play video games, watch movies. If you watch movies, read books. If you read books, work out. If you work out, listen to music. If you listen to music, try video games. Try different hobbies. Diversify yourself. You are not a straight line. You are a multi-dimensional being. So don't just hyperfixate on one hobby. Enjoy multiple. Read philosophy. Enjoy the lore of your favorite stories. Discuss science. Talk about various different things. You are not limited to having one hobby. And my personal favorite thing to do is to combine some of my favorite hobbies. You could psychoanalyze the character of Kratos and how he's changed over time. Talk about the writing and narrative themes of Spider-Man, the video game. I might actually do that. Get really fit so you could cosplay your favorite characters accurately. One of my favorite things to do is to combine my enjoyment of exercise and my enjoyment of video games. I walk on a treadmill and I play games because I find long walks enjoyable, and when I can't do them outside, I just do them inside and combine it with another hobby I enjoy. I'll just hop on the treadmill and play Mario Kart 8 or Smash. Plus, having multiple interests makes you an interesting person, makes you easier to converse with, it makes you multifaceted. You can drop yourself into different communities and be able to talk about everything. I know the phrase is used negatively, but you would be a jack of all trades, master of none. But the other half of that statement, but most definitely better than master of one. I'm gonna have to fact check that on while I'm editing. So in conclusion, don't be ashamed if you have a nerdy hobby. If you want to buy a cool anime shirt, go ahead and do it. You want to buy a nice Lego set? Go ahead and do it. If you're saving up for a certain console or to buy a PC, go ahead. Who cares? Just make sure you are taking care of your responsibilities. If you said you're going to do something, you better make sure you do it. If you have made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, liking the video, commenting your opinion. There have to be some points I missed. If you want to make a counter argument against me, I am willing to hear that. I can have my mind changed. My mind has changed on this like 3 different times. I want to hear your opinion, your take. I want to see respectful discussion in the comments. All right. And if you really like my content, please consider subscribing to the Patreon. It's only $3 and $5. There are really no benefits for the tiers. It's just if you like my content. On the screen, there will be 2 videos. One that the algorithm has recommended, and another that that I recently uploaded. So please check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you. Grace and peace. Bye, guys.